I want to start off with a teaser. Do you know what a teaser is? Where you
Yeah.
tell somebody, okay, in just a minute, I'm gonna play one of these video testimonials, and for all of you who like a challenge, there's a secret message embedded in these. I'm not gonna tell
That's
you.
great.
I'm not gonna tell
You're
you
the
what it is.
only one who noticed it. You're the and I had
1-minute videos of 18 people from 7 countries plus 3,250 signatories as of today. Hi, this is Keith Cutter with EMFremedy.com. Since the beginning, I've worked hard to amplify the voices of others affected by what I call the silent plague, electromagnetic poisoning. The idea is simple. Let people speak for themselves about how replacing the natural electromagnetic environment with a synthetic one is affecting them personally. That principle, decentralization, is powerful. And it's at the heart of a new initiative Rosalito and I will share with you later in the video. We are not spokesmen. We want you to hear the voices of these people. We want you to see their faces. And let's begin right now, hearing directly from the people living this reality. Their words speak louder than anything I could say. 18 people from 7 countries, each offering a 1-minute message to the world. Listen to them first. Let their voices be the focus. And if you'd like to know more, stay with us. Rosalito and I will explain the project, how you can take part. As of today, 3,200 people have already joined the initiative, and these brave 18 have put their faces and their voices behind it. Who is next? Here we go.
Ik ben Christine en ik ben elektrohypersensitief geworden in 2020 tijdens de eerste lockdown door een te grote blootstelling aan artificiële elektromagnetische straling. Ik ben dus weg moeten vluchten uit mijn huis, weg van mijn vrienden, weg van mijn familie en weg van mijn job. En ik ben vertrokken in een campingcar en heb een schuilplaats gevonden in het bos gedurende een bepaalde periode. Ik heb nu gelukkig een woonst kunnen vinden op een plaats waar zeer weinig straling is en waar ik mij goed voel. Maar voor hoe lang? Want als er een antenne komt dicht bij mijn huis nu, dan moet ik misschien opnieuw wegvluchten. Vandaar dat ik besloten heb om de internationale oproep te tekenen. Elektrohypersensitiviteit is een humanitaire noodsituatie.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Cécile, je suis électrosensible depuis 2012. J'étais à l'époque professeure de l'éducation nationale et j'ai dû m'arrêter de travailler avant l'âge de la retraite. Je ne pouvais plus enseigner. J'ai dû quitter mon logement de la région parisienne. Depuis, j'ai déménagé plusieurs fois et j'ai même dû mettre mon fils qui était étudiant à la porte pour partir de mon logement. J'ai énormément de symptômes et je connais beaucoup d'électrosensibles depuis qui souffrent énormément. Nous sommes tous en souffrance et nous cherchons désespérément des zones habitables où notre santé peut se maintenir. Et c'est pour ça que j'ai signé l'appel « L'EHS est une urgence humanitaire ».
Les champs électriques et les champs électromagnétiques sont les conséquences du développement technologique. Pourtant, ce sont des toxiques environnementaux, au même titre que les dérivés du pétrole, de la chimie. Et les conséquences sur la qualité de l'air, sur l'état de nos sols, sur l'ensemble du vivant, sont majeures. C'est un enjeu sociétal à l'évidence, mais c'est aussi un enjeu individuel. Allons-nous continuer à fermer les yeux et à jouer à la roulette russe, comme dans ce fameux film Voyage au bout de l'enfer? À vous de voir. Les personnes électro-hypersensibles, comme dit le docteur Milbert, sont des sentinelles environnementales. Elles vous disent la souffrance, elles nous alertent, mais elles sont aussi exclues de la société. C'est pour cela que nous souhaitons le dénoncer et nous vous proposons de signer l'appel « L'électro-hypersensibilité est une urgence humanitaire ». Nous comptons sur vous.
My life turned upside down in 2022 when I switched on a new Wi-Fi. In an instant, I became electro-hypersensitive. We no longer have access to normal life, to public spaces, to doctors, dentists, hospitals, healthcare. 13 months ago, a new antenna was added 1 kilometer away from my home. Since then, I've been locked down in my kitchen. It is my only safe place, and yet, I consider myself lucky to be able to spend the winter in the warmth of my home. I have a special thought for my fellow EHS who fled to the woods, in precarious shelters, in cars, in caravans, the so-called EMF refugees whom nobody cares about. This is a real disgrace. For all these reasons, to save my life, in solidarity with those who suffer, I sign the appeal. Electro-hypersensitivity is a humanitarian emergency.
Estamos en guerra contra un enemigo invisible. Soy una de las innombrables víctimas de las antenas de telefonía, wifi, bluetooth, móviles y demás basura inalámbrica. La radiación que emiten no tiene olor, no se puede ver ni se escucha sin un buen medidor. Por culpa de todo esto me he vuelto electrohipersensible y llevo desde el año 2012 sufriendo. Ya no puedo trabajar ni tener amigos, no puedo viajar, no tengo ocio, no puedo ir a la playa o a la piscina. Las antenas están en todas las partes y todo el mundo lleva un móvil que me pone enfermo. Estoy bajo fuego cruzado del enemigo. Tengo que llevar un traje Faraday para poder salir de mi casa apantallada. Todos los seres vivos sufren. En este parque ya no queda ninguna abeja ni mariposa. Ya no cantan los pájaros ni los grillos. Solo nos acompaña un silencio post-apocalíptico por la noche. Por eso he decidido firmar esta petición. La electrohipersensibilidad es una crisis humanitaria.
J'ai signé l'appel « L'EHS est une urgence pour l'humanitaire ». Nous sommes plus de 30 000 agriculteurs impactés en France par les ondes électromagnétiques. Moi, j'en suis victime dû à un poste source Enedis qui se situe à 150 mètres de mon exploitation. J'ai quasiment tout perdu. Je suis en procédure judiciaire contre Enedis depuis plus de 6 ans. Ça ne fait que d'augmenter. Il y a des cas de clusters de cancer pédiatrique, des cas de clusters de malformation pédiatrique, la maladie de Charcot, la maladie de la sclérose en plaques, Alzheimer, etc. J'en passe, énormément de maladies qui sont dues à ça. Il faut que tout le monde se réunisse pour que ce scandale sanitaire majeur explose partout, parce que tout le monde entier est concerné. J'ai rencontré Macron, j'ai rencontré le ministre par 2 fois, le ministre de l'Agriculture, tous les grands présidents des différents organismes agricoles. Ils savent tout, j'ai tout filmé. Ils savent tout ce qu'il se passe, mais ne font rien. Il faut que tout le monde se réunisse pour que ce scandale explose partout. Merci.
Chers amis, pourquoi signer l'appel « L'EHS est une urgence humanitaire » Eh bien, je pense qu'on en est arrivé à un point où il n'est plus possible maintenant d'échapper à la pollution électromagnétique, sauf à être dans des zones un peu naturelles où là, on peut se ressourcer. Donc, messieurs les opérateurs, faites le test. Essayez de dormir à 2 cm d'une box Wi-Fi. Vous verrez, c'est un peu compliqué. Eh bien, nous, à dose homéopathique, la population à dose homéopathique subit cette pollution-là, ne peut plus dormir, est attaquée tous les jours, sans son consentement, par cet élément toxique. Signez donc cette pétition. Merci.
Hello, my name is Amir Borsten and I am an EHS person from Israel. I've become electromagnetic hypersensitive in 2004. Since then, I've been managing this condition, becoming better and better. This condition requires me to make bigger and bigger changes in my life in order to get better and stay healthy. As the exposure to EMF becomes higher and higher, with the development and deployment and use of more and more radio frequency technologies like cellular and wireless infrastructure and equipment, I become more isolated and disabled. With the heavier exposure, more and more people are getting affected and more becoming EHS. Because of prejudiced opinion about EMF, RF and EHS, only a small number of them understand the condition and cause, and even fewer will get the right guidance and treatment. Most will be wrongly diagnosed and will become sicker and sicker, while others are left to battle this condition with no support or help. This is why I signed the appeal, EHS is a humanitarian emergency.
It all started with 2 brain MRIs within a span of a few days. I subsequently developed severe disabling electrohypersensitivity. Prolonged exposure to cell towers, cell phones, Wi-Fi, and even hardwired computers caused me to have life-threatening reactions. It is impossible for me to have any quality of life when cell towers are ubiquitous on top of roadways, schools, churches, and throughout neighborhoods, including my own. When cell phones are in the hands of nearly every man, woman, and child in the United States, when most electric, gas, and water meters are smart meters, constantly sending and receiving wireless signals, when Wi-Fi routers are located in nearly every school, hospital, doctor's office, business, home, and even in parks and outdoor spaces, when new cars have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, when to be gainfully employed involves being surrounded by Wi-Fi, cell phones, and or extensive computer usage. Where am I to go and what am I to do? I am unable to work and have not gotten disability. I have run out of money and been forced to start a GoFundMe, whose success depends on a social media presence, which I do not have. I have therefore signed the appeal that EHS is a humanitarian crisis.
I'm Lily. I'm in a nursing home in Minneapolis, state of Minnesota, the United States. We are inundated by electromagnetic energy in this place because of old wiring that can't handle the technology, and it bleeds into my room at night for a year and a half. I've developed ovarian cysts, cataracts, burning in other parts of my body, and I was supposed to be a computer software trainer. Guess what? That did not work out. We need to stop this from happening. We're not the only ones dealing with it, but we have to have a voice, even if we're scared. People are making money off of the hurting of our physical bodies and other parts of nature. We have to do this together. And yes, I have signed the appeal that electrohypersensitivity is a humanitarian emergency. Let's do this together, folks. Let's open up our voices. Stay safe.
Il y a 25 ans, je vendais des téléphones mobiles et des forfaits. J'avais pris le forfait Millennium, vous savez, le premier forfait illimité. Quelle aubaine de pouvoir téléphoner pour la première fois en illimité. Génial, ma barrière hémato-encéphalique en a pris un coup. Il y a 18 ans, je me suis fait poser les implants de stérilisation Essure. Il a fallu 14 ans pour que je me rende compte, que je fasse le lien avec tous les problèmes de santé que j'avais. Les implants Essure contenaient des métaux lourds, des nanomatériaux à mémoire de forme. Il y a moins d'1 an, je me suis fait retirer les implants Essure, ma santé s'améliore, je fais ce qu'il faut. Par contre, vu que les ondes ne cessent d'augmenter, je suis toujours très impactée par celles-ci et je reste beaucoup à la maison. et en faisant très attention. Nous, électro-conscients, électro-impactés, EHS, nous ne sommes pas des anormaux. Nous sommes juste les premiers à dire que les ondes électromagnétiques artificielles détruisent progressivement toutes sortes de vie sur Terre. J'ai signé l'appel « EHS est une urgence humanitaire ».
Je m'appelle Laure et je vivais en région parisienne. J'étais informaticienne. Je vivais dans une jolie maison avec mon mari et 2 enfants. Et en 2013, je suis devenue électro-hypersensible. Je ne pouvais plus dormir, j'étais épuisée, j'avais des acouphènes et des maux de tête énormes. J'ai cherché sur internet avec ces mots-clés, j'ai trouvé l'électro-hypersensibilité. J'y croyais pas trop. J'ai coupé l'électricité de toute la maison pour tester. Je me suis couchée et je me suis endormie en 2 secondes. Ça ne m'était pas arrivé depuis des années. Alors j'ai quitté Paris. J'ai quitté mon travail. Je suis partie vivre dans un mobil-home avec mes enfants sur le terrain d'une amie. Et puis une antenne est passée en 4G+. J'ai dû encore fuir. J'ai fini par trouver une maison au fin fond de la forêt. Mais dès que je sors, je souffre. Alors je suis confinée dans ma maison depuis 12 ans. Je n'ai plus accès aux médecins, je ne peux plus aller à la chorale, je ne peux plus aller au spectacle de fin d'année de mes enfants, je ne peux plus aller aux réunions de parents d'élèves. Voilà, c'est pas une vie. C'est pour ça que j'ai signé l'appel « L'EHS est une urgence humanitaire ».
Je suis EHS depuis l'enfance. J'étais musicienne professionnelle, j'avais une jolie carrière. J'ai dû tout abandonner le 17 mars 2017 quand je suis devenue invalide. Grâce à Swisscom, l'entreprise de téléphonie suisse qui est passée au tout numérique, qui nous a obligés à avoir un modem avec Wi-Fi en permanence, sans nous dire qu'on avait un Wi-Fi et sans nous dire qu'on ne pouvait pas l'éteindre. Ma vie est devenue intenable. Je m'évanouissais, ma peau s'est mise à brûler et ça se remarquait, c'était pas juste psychologique. La température était réellement plus élevée. Mes organes internes brûlaient aussi. Mes yeux me sortaient de la tête, j'avais l'impression qu'on m'arrachait les dents avec des tenailles. Je me suis réfugiée à la cave et j'ai compris que ma vie en Suisse était finie. Alors je me suis réfugiée ici au Maroc, dans le désert, loin de tout. Ils m'ont planté une antenne à 3 km, mais c'est supportable parce que c'est suffisamment loin. À la maison, je peux vivre sans vêtements de protection parce que je n'ai pas d'électricité. Je n'ai pas non plus de gadgets électroniques. En dehors de la maison, je suis obligée de porter des vêtements de protection. J'ai signé l'appel, même si je vais beaucoup mieux depuis que je suis ici. L'EHS, c'est une urgence humanitaire au même titre que l'a été l'amiante. Signez-le vous aussi, s'il vous plaît. Aujourd'hui, c'est moi qui suis malade. Demain, c'est vous. Après-demain, c'est vos enfants. Signez.
Ce 2 avril 2025, le magasin Noroto m'a refusé le droit de payer en 4 fois la somme de 395,70 €. Pourtant, j'ai fourni les documents demandés, ma carte d'identité, ma carte bancaire. On m'a demandé mon numéro de téléphone portable pour confirmation par SMS. Or, je n'ai plus de téléphone portable depuis 10 ans pour raisons sanitaires et éthiques évidentes. En effet, je fais partie des 5% de la population en France devenue électro-hypersensible à cause de la pollution électromagnétique imposée progressivement de façon totalitaire. J'ai une adresse mail, un numéro de téléphone fixe filaire, mais ça ne suffit plus. Mon existence administrative est donc menacée. Je me retrouve soudain victime d'une discrimination scandaleuse. Pour cette raison, et bien d'autres encore que je n'ai pas le temps de développer, j'ai signé l'appel « L'électro-hypersensibilité est une urgence humanitaire ».
heiße Claudia und komme aus Deutschland. Seit 2001 habe ich große gesundheitliche Probleme, die durch Mobilfunk, WLAN, Bluetooth und Decktelefone verursacht werden. Zu den Symptomen gehören Schlaflosigkeit, Kopfschmerzen, Konzentrationsmangel, Tinnitus und wenn es sehr schlimm ist, auch Schwindel. Ich bin seit 8 Jahren erwerbsunfähig und musste 2-mal mein Zuhause verlassen. Als elektrosensibler Mensch lebt man mitunter sehr einsam, weil man an sozialen Aktivitäten nicht mehr teilnehmen kann. Restaurantbesuche, Kino, shoppen gehen, in Urlaub fahren, essen gehen, alles das ist aufgrund zu starker elektromagnetischer Felder nicht mehr möglich. Große Sorgen mache ich mir, sollte ich einmal so krank sein und in ein Krankenhaus müssen. Dort sind die elektromagnetischen Felder mitunter am intensivsten. Für die Zukunft würde ich mir wünschen, dass mehr Informationen an die Bevölkerung gelangen, dass elektromagnetische Felder krank machen können und dass die Erkrankungen, unter denen ich nicht alleine leide, sondern viele andere Menschen auch, bei den Behörden anerkannt wird.
Hello, my name is Nurit and I am from Israel. For 20 years, I worked as a manager in a big company. Before, I was a gymnastic trainer after being a professional gymnast. In 2019, I began experience strange symptoms like very strong headaches, strong heartbeats, sore eyes, and more. I also noticed that time that cell towers popped up everywhere in a very short time. Very fast, I understood that my body became hypersensitive to radiation. I had to quit my work, leave my home, and find a place to live in. In nearly 5 years, I hardly can go out of my home, and I try a lot of treatments in order to feel better. If it happens to me, it can happen to everyone. And this is why I signed the appeal. EHS is a humanitarian emergency.
Wireless trespass interferes with the quiet enjoyment of our homes. This year, I'm celebrating 40 years surviving electromagnetic poisoning. I use that term intentionally. It's a much better label than electrohypersensitivity because it's bad form to blame the one being poisoned, right? Beginning in the late 19th century, it was called neurasthenia. Freud tried to rebrand it as anxiety disorder. By the way, a label doctors hung on me for over 3 decades, which vanished after I began living in an RF-free environment. Beginning in the 1920s, it was radio wave sickness. In the 50s, microwave sickness. In the 90s, EHS. Most recently, a ridiculous term which I won't even repeat. Tossing in the word syndrome on top like a final insult, it's time to stop destroying life on Earth with these synthetic emissions. And yes, I signed the appeal. Electrohypersensitivity is a humanitarian emergency.
My name is Daniel, and in 2012, after about 15 years of working intensely with technology and wireless setups, I became quite ill, and I couldn't figure out what it was till I pieced it together, and it turned out that if I removed any wireless exposure, I was feeling okay. but if I was exposed, I would get intense migraines, and it only has gotten worse in those 12, 13 years now. I have gotten to a point that I have to wear a suit to be able to go anywhere, and it's getting way more intense with all the wireless equipment. And I think we are heading for a disaster. And that's why I signed the appeal. Electro-hypersensitivity is a global emergency.
J'invite tous les EHS victimes des infrastructures de télécom et d'énergie à venir signer la pétition EMP victime, avec un S et sans E à la fin, à venir signer cette pétition et à laisser son témoignage. Et je vous invite tous aussi à appeler tous ceux que vous connaissez qui sont impactés par ces nuisances, à venir témoigner pour qu'il y ait le maximum de signatures. Un maximum pour faire le plus de bruit possible. Merci à vous, au revoir.
So, you've been very busy lately with a rather large project. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, in Europe now we're in a hurry to save our lives, to save the tiny little white zones remaining because of the Gigabit Act, which is a European law, or I don't know if it's a law or a text which encourages to eradicate all white zones and to accelerate antennas building and commissioning. And this is for EMF refugees, for example. It's a real drama. People are hiding in the woods, in the bush, in dirty conditions. This has been lasting for years, and they were quite quiet in their refuge, even with a horrible life. But now they can't even stay there. Everything is radiated, and they have to flee, and they have nowhere to settle again. And more people have to flee their homes. More and more people are live in bad conditions inside their homes. It's hard times for Europeans now, and with a team of friends, we started thinking, what can we do? Because it's after it will be too late. We will not be able to communicate, because to communicate one with the others, we need connection, and to have connection, we need a home. Or you can communicate in a van, but you can't work as a team online. So we were afraid to lose contact one with the others. It's now or never. And so we for a month we discussed what can we do. We realized that all that could be done had been done on the way it was done since for years. And so this idea of this EMP victims, electromagnetic pollution victims collective, was let's try another way, and let's try not to reproduce this pyramidal organization that we inherit from social and politic organizations. You have the base, and then you elect representatives who elect representatives, and then your representative goes to speak with another representative, and this has lasted for years, and here we are. So let's try something else. And so we had the idea to not speak instead of the people. Not we won't advocate for the numbers, but we try to provide tools. Now it's one tool, and we have other projects for later. We try to provide tools to empower everyone where he is in his life. And we do this by the idea is that everyone can advocate his own case with a little sentence, a little video, a little action. But we gather all these actions, and then it takes another dimension. If you are alone to advocate your case, for example, you need some medical service and you try to negotiate. Let's take an example. You try to negotiate to have you have to go to hospital, and you want to bring a canopy, and so you say, I have a problem with radiation, and then eventually the person will make fun of you, will say this doesn't exist, and this, because you are alone with this person and he has the knowledge, the so-called knowledge, and you are nothing. With the numbers, now you can you can bring all the testimonials of all people who write their messages on the website. For example, we have now 3,000 signatories for an appeal. EHS is a humanitarian emergency. We called for Europeans to sign because of this European Gigabit Act problem. And we were very surprised that people from all around the world came to sign. And at first we thought they sign in support for our European cause, but it's more than this. They sign because they need to put their words somewhere, and they have the same needs as we have. And it's work in progress. Every week we discover new fields of reflection, but they sign because they are part of the same. It's a global drama. We are in a global world, and it's a global drama. So now we have this page. When you sign the appeal, you write. You have a little space to write your message. And we have now more than, I think it's now, yesterday was 3,200 signatories. And each one of them wrote a little piece of his story. Some just to write I am EHS. Some write something against radiation. You don't know if they suffer, if they are in support. And some write their whole story. We have very long messages with where you understand the story of the person, quite detailed. So now you can go to your medical doctor who doesn't believe you, who thinks you're nuts. You can go see your brother-in-law who always said, you're weird, you've always been weird, there's always a problem with you. And you can say, okay, but we are 3,000 saying the same thing. I'm not the only one. Look at all these people I don't know. They live on the other side of the planet, and they write the same thing. Just please read it. And once I made the experience, I had a difficult conversation with an administrative person who never had heard of radiation suffering, and she was a kind woman, but I understood that she wondered in her head if I was normal, if I if I was nuts. She asked me questions. She was embarrassed. She asked me, but are you the only one? Are there other ones? What is this? I never heard of this. And at that time, we had only 500 signatures. And I just had the idea, oh, please go to this page. I gave her the idea of the page and just read the beginning. You will understand. And she went to this page. And then there was this silent time. And then she was overwhelmed. She said, "What is this? I never heard of this. It's people from everywhere, but what is this?" And she was a local responsible. So the first reaction was, "But are there here in our region, are there people who live in the woods?" And I said, "Yes, I know some. I know some. I have a friend. She's 67 years old and she lives off grid. I know a guy. He's in a caravan. It's very cold now. It was in winter, and so now I started the whole work with her, and she's going to call me back. But this dialogue couldn't have taken place if I hadn't had with me all the first 500 messages of my fellow EHS that I that I don't know. I don't know them. I will never see them, but it's a way to be all together. And I was grateful to all these people. I thought, okay, we launched this appeal. These people have signed, and now today this woman, she believed me. So this is an example, a tiny example of the strength of the numbers. This is what we try to do, to empower people and empower people of their own strength and the strength of being accompanied by the numbers.
Well, that's incredible. And you and your friends have certainly started something unbelievable, and thousands of people adding their voices, and we have more than a few now video testimonies, and in a little while here, you've put together a collage of these different messages. They're each about 1 minute, 15 seconds, and so you just get a little slice of different people's lives, and nobody can tell the whole story, and nobody can tell the whole story in 1 minute. But by listening to all these people all around the world, you begin to very quickly understand the things that we suffer from. Not everybody is able to get to a safe place. Not everybody can have a shielded home. Not everybody can live in the country or have terrain, and there are many people suffering. You and I have both known many people who suffer in this way. I'm this year celebrating 40 years of survival with this situation, and 33 of those years I didn't know what it was. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one to have medical situations like chronic arthritis vanish when I stop exposing myself to this type of radiation. And I think you and I both share anxiety for many years in our background, but now that we live without radio frequency radiation exposure, not a problem anymore. So I just want to keep this part relatively short, but I want to mention a few things that you said and just reinforce those, that this is not an effort to be spokesman. We are not speaking.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is not at all our project. We will never talk instead of people. We are not representatives.
That's the real power here. That is.
We are facilitators, but not representatives.
Facilitating the voices of others. And
yes.
Encouraging more people to speak. So let me address that very quickly for a minute. You know, I wanted to record something, but I always found something else that I had to do. And, you know, there's only so many time and oh, the sun is shining outside, and there's endless number of excuses. And I just decided, you know what? I need to do this right now. And it's not that painful. 1 minute. Anybody can speak for 1 minute. Record your voice. Have courage to step away from what other people consider to be normal or the normal experience, and just share from your heart. And that's really all it takes. There is a paper, and we'll have the website where you can sign up. It's called The Appeal for All EHS to All Elected Officials and Doctors in Europe. And I firmly believe that seeing the international support from around the world so far, this thing is going to grow far beyond that charter. So I'll let you have the last few words. And I will just mention, before I let you have the last few words, see if you can figure out what the secret message is that's encoded in every one of these. So that's a little bit of a challenge for people who are interested in a challenge. Put the answer down in the comments of this video. And if you'd like to say a few words of support in the comments of the video as well, that would be great. So go ahead and any final comments that you'd like to share.
Well, I would encourage people to visit our website, to read the comments, to read the appeal, to watch the videos. There will be at the end of this video, to watch the videos and to consider making their own, because it's enough, this myth of invisibility, invisible disability. Let's make it visible. We are a minority. Minorities find support, find people to advocate their case, but they have to speak up first. Nobody will just have the idea to find us, come advocate for us, if we don't speak up first. And probably if we show our faces in the newspapers, in the TVs, we are always presented like Amish people who live in caves, who I don't know, Middle Ages persons. Let's show our faces, our pretty faces that we don't have many occasions to show in the public space. Let's show them all together. Let's show people that we are just regular people like everybody, but we had this issue with the radiation, which caused a drama in our life, and that made our life turn another way. But let's come out of invisibility all together, and we'll find support in regular people, I'm sure.
Wonderful. I'll make sure that the information is available. I'll put it on the video here. And
thank you,
Rosalita. Thank you so much, and thank your friends that made all of this possible. And I appreciate your time today in talking about this. God bless you.
I and my friend, we thank you a lot for your support and for the visibility you give us, and it's a blessing. Thank you a lot, Keith.
My pleasure.